Good evening, one and all. It's good to be back once again. I know there are a few of you in here already. I'll get into the chat in a moment. Belfast Whiskey Week is rapidly coming upon us, very rapidly. And tonight it gives me great pleasure to bring in the man behind it. So thank you for joining us. There's some, I know what I meant to do. Doesn't matter how many times I think I'm up on technology, I still don't have a clue what I'm doing. Anyway, yes, it's good to have you all here. There's a few names in here already, and I'm going to just jump into the group and say hello before I bring Paul Keane in from the Belfast Whiskey Club. So we've already got Mark Slinger was in early doors, looking to see what we're drinking tonight. Graham Horner's in, good to see you, Graham. Petehead Frank, good to see you, my friend. Who have we got? These boys were all chatting away before I even started. We have Greg's Whiskey Guy. Good to see you, Greg. Lee J. Brown's in. Whiskey Straight Al. Good to see you guys. As I say, it's Belfast Whiskey Week's coming around. And I've been wanting to have, I wanted to have Paul on just to give us a rundown on what's going on. Just before I do that, there was questions about what I was drinking tonight because I didn't know what I was going to be drinking. I hadn't really made up my mind. And I now have Desi Vleeland, Che Francis, Whiskey Graham. Sorry, good to see you guys. And now we'll be trying Balcones Baby Blue, which was a sample sent to me by Graham Horner. And I'm going to, because I've been waiting to try this. So I'm going to be trying it against Mellow Corn. And I'm warming up with a Weller. And I know that Paul, who's just nipped off screen, is Paul will be. He's having a. What do you remind me what you were on, Paul?
I'm on the Dumvilles PX12. So
Dumvilles.
I'm on Dumvilles PX12. Yeah, sure. Why not? Huh?
Folks,
when in Rome.
When in Rome, folks in the chat, please welcome Paul Keane from the Belfast Whiskey Club. Cheers, my friend.
Listen, cheers. Yeah, Slancha. Thank you very much for having me, Jim. Genuinely, thank you very much for having me. And great again to have like an audience of any description, because it's a novelty. I don't normally get my own audience, so thank you very much, Jim.
You can have my audience. It's
some of those names are familiar, so that's really good. I'm glad they're here.
There's a few, as I say, you've already met. Well, you know Che Francis now. Whiskey Pilgrim's in from Sweden. Phil is in from Causeway Coast. I think you know Phil. He's saying hello. Just he's waving.
That's nice. Hi. How are you?
So yes, Paul, you are behind the Belfast Whiskey Club.
Yeah.
Not Whiskey Club NI as was.
You know what? But, I have a lot of patience, Jim. Right, and it was funny yesterday. Jason, fair play to Jason. Whiskey Jason tried so hard to be accommodating. I'd missed him on the Friday night, and I tell you what happened. I'd headed on down to Dublin. I was picking up some old stock there for the whiskey week, and actually, Dublin, there's no one about in the streets. Shops are all closed. There's no one walking. But the traffic is horrendous. Don't know how this is at all possible, but it took me an extra hour and a half to get out of Dublin. So I was late, and I messaged Jason well in advance, said, I'm going to be late, hold off. And I got to the point, he just said, listen, don't worry about it, we'll do it on Sunday. So patience for the guy. But then he has the audacity. Whiskey Club NI, hello Joe McGowan. And again, look, I can plug him all night because I really like the guy. He doesn't bother me the slightest. But no, look, Whiskey Club Belfast was started way before Whiskey Club NI was, which is great. And you know what? It's been a good journey. We've had a core group of members for the last 5 years, and it's expanded. And so it should, because the people who get involved, they're just whiskey drinkers. They want to drink whiskey. They want to come and have fun. They're enthusiasts. they're not uber serious. Although we do have like with Phil, I mean, he is a wee bit serious, isn't he? We've got a couple of serious people, but the club is not serious. It's a bit of fun. It is where you can come and explore whiskey. And do you know what, Jim? I don't know how many times I've mentioned it to you. Being in the Duke of York, coming in, I know that you're in some nights, and I've said, listen, do you want to smell this, or do you want to taste this, or and that's the type of club we are. We're very inclusive. We want people to come and interact, and we get that. We're very lucky. We do. We get a good crowd, and it's nice to see different faces every month, and we do 2 or 3 a month. It's good to see different faces coming along. But look, Belfast Whiskey Week is a kind of spawn. It's the afterbirth of Belfast Whiskey Club. It's the byproduct of the club. It is something that has come from this enthusiasm in Belfast to have discussion about whiskey, to enjoy whiskey, to taste whiskey. And I made it my mission last year just to have a very small event, and it turned out to be quite big. And I was like, well, it became big. That wasn't my fault. That was other people's doing. People wanted it to become big. So I thought this year we will go big and bringing in the likes of Phil and Jamie and Nigel and Johnny to help organise what could have been physically in bars, in restaurants, probably one of the most, the largest physical event on the island for some time. And now it's online. I do genuinely think it's got its own legs. It's got its own momentum. But it has become very, very big. We're now at, specifically, there's now going to be 41 tastings, at the moment that are either being sold or about to be sold, in terms of tickets. Sold out of so many that going back to some of the companies, distilleries and brands and saying, listen, you sold out. It's up to you what you want to do. Do you want to do another set? Do you want to expand your numbers? And that's really been quite refreshing, being able to have that conversation with people. Cologne have stepped up twice. They sold out the first time, sold out the second time, and then went for a third. They've gone for a completely different tasting. They've gone for a bespoke tasting for only 10 people. And they're just going to look at a couple of wee things which will be very unique to that core group of people. And then we, Aquavita, which is run by a guy called Chris Hennessy from Kilkenny Whiskey Guild. He works down in the Dillon Whiskey Bar down there, and absolutely brilliant fella. But he's going to take us through a kind of history of whiskey, from Aquavita through to where we are just now. And that sold out. And again, I went back to him and I said, "Listen, what do you make of this, young man?" Everyone was, there was a buzz, and they went, "Right, we'll have to go and source more, 1980s Bush." But yeah. Stuff it will. You know what I mean? So there has been a great kind of momentum with some of those brands, some of those tastings that people want to be part of. I think the words I used for Waterford were, I think they used one line to announce the whole. I think I just wrote that because actually, look, I mean, I knew nothing about what Waterford wanted to do because they just said, "Paul, we want to be involved," and that's again, that's quite refreshing when someone comes to you and they say, "Paul, I want to be involved in this festival." I go, "Yeah, no problem. I don't."
Well, you don't have to do the work.
I'm not going to say no to anyone. I'm going to say, if you want to be part of something, let's make it happen. Like, I don't want to be the block. I don't want to be the person putting the blocks in place. I want to be very open, 100%. Very smart about what we can do. So, no, we've done.
Sorry, what I want to say to you was, like, I mean, I know an awful lot of people in these, and sorry, Nigel's in, actually Stephen Davidson's in as well. Good to see you, lads. I mean, there's a lot of people in this group, certainly that I know here, and I mean, there's festivals have happened. The Tomatin Lockdown, there was 2 of the Tomatin Lockdown festivals. The Somerton Whiskey Festival happened, which was, and that seemed like quite a big event. But you've created something here that's pretty much off the chart compared to those, because they were one-day events.
They were one-day events, and you know what? It was great to watch and be part of. I got, certainly made it my mission to see what was happening in those events, to see what was happening and how could we replicate something and make it bigger and better and learn from it, learn from any mistakes. And yeah, do you know what? It's not a simple process. When I looked at turning it online, I was like, man, what do I need to do here? And it wasn't just the technology, because the technology is something we can learn from and play with and get used to, and there's a lot of that. But then it was the logistics. It was like, if I do something, people need to get the product. They need to get the whiskies. How do we do that? So it was like, I need boxes, I need bottles, I need labels, I need product, I need postage, I need deliveries. There was a whole, and I was to get my head around that. I mean, that's a massive expense because no one's paying for that. Tell you what, Proximo ain't paying for that. Booth Mills ain't. They're not paying for that. That's not. This is something that certainly I know the guys have helped me. In terms of the guys involved in the Whiskey Week, but I made it a mission to ensure that if we're going to do it, freaking do it. Let's not hold back. Let's not. Whatever the obstacle is, let's try and overcome it. So I had a lot of fun with Johnny, Johnny Lloyd. He's in our whiskey club. He owns his own design studio, and we had a lot of fun just creating the look of Belfast Whiskey Week. So it has its own image, and I think that's brilliant. It has its own style. It has its own charisma. I think when people get some of the boxes that are coming out, when they get some of the packs that are coming, they're going to be quite impressed. It's not like. It's not, and no offence to people who are handing out whiskey samples all over the place, and I've seen that. And again, no offence to people who have tried to do certain similar things. Mate, when you get a box that speaks to you, that kind of opens up and talks to you and presents to you, that says something to me.
As you said it yourself almost at the start there, this is Belfast Whiskey Week is a monster on its own outside of the club.
Yeah.
It's not because, and this was something else that I wanted to hit upon. This isn't something that originally had, this could play to your benefit, because had this been Belfast Whiskey Week, actual Belfast Whiskey Week rather than virtual Belfast Whiskey Week, it would have happened in Belfast for people in Belfast. Now, I know last year, because it was there, that there was people popping in, tourists from all over the world just popping in and joining in, and it was great. It was because I was meeting people that I actually knew but had never met from around the world, so yeah, Lisa, so these things happen. But you couldn't have, you were still narrowing that down to this bar on this day, this bar on that day, etc. Whereas this now has become a global thing because anybody can take part.
Jim,
getting the word out's the thing, but
you know what? Getting the word out, getting the message out, and letting people actually understand that they can access it. That's important. Because I'm still fielding questions. Today, still, will this be sent to me? Yeah, 100%. But ask the questions, get involved in the conversation, and let people know. I genuinely want to get as many people as involved as possible. There is a limit because there's a limited amount of tickets for a limited amount of events. But physically getting boxes out to people, I want that to happen. And I looked at things like, in terms of cost of delivery, I was like, how can I make it cheap for everyone? So the price, Eventbrite's right. See, when I try to explain this to people, Eventbrite's crap. And I hope they pick up on this, right? But Eventbrite, you can't have a delivery charge on Eventbrite, because Eventbrite pretends that you're having a live event. And even when they switched their mode in the last couple of months to allow online events, really, in a whole separate part to it, even then underneath it says, listen, if you've got delivery charges, you have to do with that yourself. That has to be done separately. So I thought to myself, how do I do it? If I just say everyone in Ireland, everyone in the UK gets free delivery, then I work it from that point. Anyone in Europe, anyone in the rest of the world, very small delivery charges, as long as I've got the right type of courier service. So we've done a couple of test runs. We've sent a couple of things elsewhere to make sure things work. And and I'm still confident that if you can receive a package in America, if you can receive alcohol, i.e. the law allows you, then we're on a 3-day turnaround to America, which is great. For Europe, and again, a 3-day turnaround. So, I'm very confident that people can buy tickets up until probably about the 15th, 16th of July. I'll be quite comfortable that we can have them out way before the festival takes place. I have no issue with that. But yeah, it's about, do you know what? It is global. And we have got people from the States, people from India, people from, parts of Europe that, I really want to get stuff out to Australia, but I'm concerned that when we have tried to send stuff to Australia, it takes only their customs can get to the country, but their customs cause a bit of an issue. But and so does India. But we've actually, I don't know how fly we've managed to be, but we just want it to be accessible. And you're right, Jim. If it was just in Belfast, we're relying on the people from Northern Ireland. We're relying on people from Belfast, but we also be wanting the people from Dublin to take trips up. And we were lucky last year because there was guys from Dublin made the effort, came all the way up. But what I say to my friends in Dublin and anywhere else in the south, I've got lots of friends in the south who I speak to, daily, and some of them will travel from Dublin to Dingle before they'll go to Dublin to Belfast. And I'm like, you do know that you could be, you could be in Belfast and back again before you're in Dingle. And I'm just like, listen, come on. It's no brainer. Belfast being the centre of crack and having fun and having a whiskey festival. There's
100%.
You know what I mean? And especially for our guys in Scotland. I mean, we're talking about Shay there. Good, fair play to the big man. I mean, he could nip over to Belfast when it's a physical event, go on the ferry, cost him a tenner return, and he'd be here for the crack.
Two straight. Sorry, Lee J. Brown was asking where he looks. I might move screens here, but this should go all right. If it doesn't really matter. It's basically this, and there is the link to it for anyone.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's a simple link. It's a simple link just now, Jim. So at the moment, it's just BelfastWhiskeyWeek.com, and it reflects to the page. Actually, we've just confirmed with all of the distilleries. There's certain things that brands and distilleries have to agree on, which is about use of imagery and logos and stuff. But there's an agreement here that by Thursday of this week, that our website will be live as well. So that website, www.belfastwhiskeyweek.com, will have information about the event and distilleries, and will link back each event back to there. But you know what? The Eventbrite page has worked well because all these events that have sold out, and actually, if you went down that list, you'd be hard pushed to find events with any more than maybe even 5 or 6 tickets.
It's still going, I know, and I'm waiting for payday this week, so I hope there's still something available on payday.
We put up some new ones. I mean, we waited a little while for Proximo to come back with their Bushmills tastings, but they're now on. They went on live this morning. And then, as I say, we had a new Cologne one went on this morning, and we had a new Redbreast tasting went on this morning. But and again, very quickly tickets went for that. But and there's going to be another couple that are going on, that'll be going live next couple of days. But it's the variety, isn't it? Shay, see what you say maybe, Paul. No, Shay. So this is listen. Shay, you can take part in any of those events. I'll send the stuff to you. In fact, I'll drive to Glasgow and drop it off and to you.
Sorry, I just want to say, look, before we go, sorry, Paul, Richard Newland, Aaron, just there's a few other guys. Des come in there. Just want to say hello before we moved on. Fionnuala McGregor's in. McGregor, sorry.
Been good. No, I think Shay's making a point.
I think she's bought enough. Sorry.
She has bought too much. But what's really interesting, actually, Jim? There's people I've never met before, and I've never spoken to before, who, and I hope they don't mind me calling them out, but when they've messaged me and they've said, listen, I'm from Dublin, can you deliver? And I've said, not a bar. I will hand deliver to you in Dublin if you want. And they've gone, really? This is class. Messaged me 5 minutes later. Do you know what? I just bought 15 boxes here. And I just went, what? They went, yeah, mate. It says, they're just that good. I just went through the list and picked them all. You know what I mean? And I was like, are you serious? And I was like, had to quantify that. I had to go into the Eventbrite page and have a look, and he did. But then I had a guy it was too funny, and again, he's from down south, and he messaged me saying, are you delivering down south? And I went, yes, not a problem, don't worry about that. And he messaged me back that night, and I don't know if I was telling someone this before. It was a picture. It wasn't like a message. He sent me a picture of him in his bath with a list. No, I didn't see anything I should have seen, but it was a list next to his bath with him ticking off what he was going to. And I was like, man, you're taking this really seriously. You know, you're making it like as if it's a festival that you're actually going to, and you're going to go and see this band and that band, and you're going to go. And do you know what? I think part of a lot what people don't get is that we are trying to create a festival. And
Mm-hmm.
we're all about the whiskey. I'm all about the whiskey. The whiskey's loving me. I'm loving it, and we're having some crack with that. But the festival's more than that. It's about culture. It's about having the crack and having lots of fun. So when we are doing tastings and we're running through that schedule every day, you know that we're having it's not repetitive. It's new. We've got people coming in to talk to us. Hopefully, there's some great like I would say they're personalities. You know, they're personalities. People within the whiskey industry, or people who talk about whiskey, or people who drink whiskey. I want them coming through and having the crack. They don't have to just sat in their house drinking, you know, to the tastings. They can get involved, and I want to bring them on, and we'll talk about that. But then we've got the music.
Sorry, it's because I was going to say that's part of, isn't that what they say? That's what makes a great brand ambassador, is the ability to be able to tell a good story, etc. And I mean, this is what I think. Then, whenever you've been on your journey for a while and looking down through it, you know, you sort of, we all have a story to tell about, and you could pick a certain whiskey and have stories. So it's good to see these people, Smarties.
Yeah, mate. Oh. You can't go wrong. No, you know, we want to bring those people on. So we've got we have some what do you call it? Their names of whiskey. I mean, if we talk about people who are, you know, who are talking about all the time, they're either on Instagram or they're blogging away or whatever they're doing. There's a lot of people out there who I have a lot of time for. I listen to some of the stuff they talk about, and they're keen. They've messaged me and they've said, you know what, I'd like to get involved with this. How can I get involved? And I've said, well, do you know what? If we just want to come on for the crack and we'll talk about stuff. But we've also got the musicians, you know, and I know Jim, I let you down the other day, and I really am so sorry. Really sorry. But we've got musicians, we've got DJs, we've got comedians. Some people might not get that and where that's coming from, but I want it to be a festival. I want people to have a celebration, a bit of fun, relaxation. So 25 different entertainers so far. And we'll be, you know, we're filming them, we're pre-recording a lot of that stuff just now, you know, in different bars, it be at the Duke or the Harp or the Garrick or Madden's. You know, we're going there and we're doing some filming. In fact, I think we're going to be in House Bar next week as well, doing some filming. You know, let's explore Belfast. We're going to do a lot of filming around Belfast to show people Belfast. So it's going to be, yeah, we're not physically in there doing the tastings, but we're going to bring Belfast to people's, you know, living rooms or bedrooms. That doing these tastings, be it in their beautiful wee garages or whatever they have, you know, nice sheds and stuff. But we want people to experience and have fun. Come and watch the tastings, but also experience Belfast a little bit, you know.
Anyway. I know this is the shame, isn't it? That you see, you and I are in a place where we know that area so well. We know the characters, we know the people. And I'm talking about certain specific people, Willie Jack, Paul O'Hare, and this is only one small area of Belfast, of course. And the thing is, it's a real shame that this isn't a physical thing, and that, because I know, like, and I say the same about the Friend at Hand whiskey shop, that Willie puts out these great whiskies that you can only buy in that shop, you know. And I just think to myself, well, here, you know, you're missing a trick. But at the same time, I know what he's doing, but you know, but I just love the fact, as I say, okay, it's not a physical thing. We can't be there.
Yeah.
But what you're bringing to the table is as close to the next best thing or better, in that, as I said earlier, you're reaching out to a wider audience by doing so.
Do you know what? We were filming down in the Duke the other day, and in fact, we're in the Harp the other day. Did a bit of filming in the Harp, and we came outside. I think Barry wanted to head on, so we came outside, but Willie was still in a meeting, and he was in a meeting with I think he was in a meeting with who was in a meeting with? Your man from Hadskey's. Oh, we'll come back to
I know who you mean, yeah.
Right. So he was in there with him, right, and we were sitting filming outside. We had a young fella, Cahill, who came down all the way from the south. Where was he coming from? Letterkenny or something. He came from somewhere away out in country, and he came all the way up to Belfast to do some filming for us. And he presented in Irish played the fiddle and something else. He played. What else did he play? He played a couple of instruments, and it was just really nice just to have that, that atmosphere. He sat in the lane, played away, played some music, and Willie comes up at the end of this meeting, and he was like, "Paul," he says, "you've turned this place into a film set. You know what I mean? You've been here, you're here filming that much." I was like, "Willie, we're doing this for the benefit, of Belfast," and he's like, "No, I love it." He says, and I'll be frank with Willie. He has supported Belfast Whiskey Club, and he's supported Belfast Whiskey Week without a question. He has never questioned it. He's never said, "What you doing there? What you doing that for?" In fact, it's been the opposite. So if I've said I've needed something, he's said, "Let's make sure that happens." And Paul O'Hare, fair play to the big fella. Fair play to him as well. He's always there. I've tortured him. I'm torturing him right now to make sure I've got whiskey. So I go into that shop and get whiskey. You know what I mean? So we're making sure we've got the Redbreast friend at hand, and we've got the Powers friend at hand Powers. And we used, for the Buckfast cast that I was talking about earlier on with you off screen, those Buckfast casts, we're using the 13-year-old cast strength Bushmills friend at hand bottles.
Oh, is that what it is? Oh, the bottles.
We're not going cheap. No, the whiskey. We're not going cheap.
I was going to say, because you wouldn't tell us at the time, and that's what I didn't actually know. And I wasn't sure whether it was still a secret or not.
We're not going cheap on the whiskey. We're using high quality, expensive, I would assume, whiskey. So I've tortured them for things like that. But then you've got Rab and Ray in that shop who have really they're always talking about the club. They're always talking about Belfast Whiskey Week. And like last year, and that's how you got to see Lisa, because I think she was in chatting, wasn't she? In chatting, and they were like, "Oh, go upstairs and have a look." And I know you were friends with her beforehand, and it was just great for her to come along.
Yet again, really, I think I said these words to you before. I've certainly said them to a few people in here, and Lisa was another one of these people. It's weird because I knew Lisa through the band and through the whiskey, so it all bizarrely linked up. But what I've said it the same about the whiskey community. I've made some of the best friends I've never met in my life. And I'll maybe never meet, and there's a lot of these people that I'll never meet in my life, but I just consider them friends. They're so easy to talk to.
Yeah.
It's, and like the openness, the sharing, and like this was the other thing that the Belfast Whiskey Club, I meant to say to you earlier, that appealed to me straight away, and you said it yourself. It's the generosity of it. There's no, whiskey is about sharing, isn't it? And that comes in spades. There.
No, it definitely is. And listen, it was hard. I suppose it's not hard for me to talk about how amazing the people in the club are, because we have just really amazing people. And do you know what? It's not the Jarlaths and the Jamies and the Phils and the people involved in the industry, because they do make it. They make it good as well, because they have opinions and people have opinions of them. Nigel having his blog as well. There are people with blogs, people with opinions, people in the industry working. But you know what? It's the people who have kept that group going for 5 years. So it's the Nigels, the Roberts, the Jasons, the James, the Johnnies, the Emmas, all these people. John. These guys, Niall, Garth. I mean, there's loads of them. There's so many. I mean, Ryan. I mean, even Crazy Ryan. I mean, if you've ever met Crazy Ryan,
I know Ryan. I've met Ryan.
Crazy Ryan. So you've got really big personalities, within the club. They've always got something to say. They've always got something to do. And there's not, and it's been nice to see a new influx of people. So it's been nice to see over the last couple of years, people, attaching themselves to the club. We've got Ricky and his wife, Helen. We've got Richard and Mikey and Paul and all these people who are coming together. You know what I mean? They're, Michael Hewitt. I don't know if Michael Hewitt pops on here a couple of times, but, we've got, and then we've got do you know what? Fanula, Louise, there's so many of them now just joining and being part of the group. Each one of them has a different skill set. Each one of them comes to the table with a different taste, which is so important, because it's like when we do our tastings. And do you know what? Your man Princey Paddy Michael was on talking away to Brendan Chandler, right? I know we shouldn't be plugging other people's blogs and stuff, but whatever. But he got caught unawares because Princey Paddy was on talking, and he came off with a one-liner, which turned into a big, massive statement. He then said, Belfast Whiskey Club is the best whiskey club in Ireland. Now, I didn't tell him to say that. I don't spend a lot of time talking to these people. He came off and said, but then he went on and he just went, it is the best club. It's, you know what, how good a club it is. It's just that they're honest, they're just down to earth people, that, you know, they're critical. You know, so if you come to our club or you present in our club or a whiskey comes to the club, we score it. You know what I mean? Everyone gets a chance to score it, and it's collectively scored. There'll be someone in that room who will think that the Dunville's 12 is a 2. Is a 2 out of 10. But there'll be other people in that room who'll be like, it's a 7, it's an easy 7, it's an 8, you know, and we'll get a collective score. And I think that, you know, that's really, really, about the club, that's really interesting, because we can look through our catalogue of whiskey we've tasted, and each one of those tastings, Jim, is unique. We don't revert back. That'll get tasted once, and that's the end of it. Move on, next. You know, we'll go to something else the week after. It'll be Scotch, it'll be Japanese, it'll be Dutch, it'll be Irish, it'll be, you know, it'll be Swedish rabbit ball droppings, whatever others they've got going on, whatever. And we taste that and we group score it, and it's honest. You don't have someone with a, okay, other than Jarlath, you don't have someone who has an agenda behind their own whiskey. But you don't. And even Jarlath, you know, it's so funny actually, because even Jarlath, like, you know, he bury his head sometimes, because, you know, if we're talking about whiskey, you know, he's be like, all right, I think they could say anything about our whiskey, and we will. And think, do you know what? Do you know who's actually took it on the chin really well? Hinch. I'll give fair play to Hinch. They came with their entire product range, and the club set them straight. The club said, listen, this could be better, but these are great. These are good. This is really good. But this could, and do you know what? If people aren't willing to take that honest criticism from a bunch of people who really want to drink whiskey and nothing more than that, do you know what I mean? Well,
no, 100%.
And you're selling the wrong liquid to the wrong people, because these are the people who are going to buy it. These are the people who are going to come and take more from it, you know?
I've noticed reviewing whiskey that it's very easy to say something that causes offence. Very easy. And I mean, you just think to yourself, well, how, it's such a wide open thing, your one's own opinion, that how can you take offence with something that somebody else has said, because it's just their opinion. Like it only means something to them. Don't take it on board and make it ruin your day. Like, I mean, it's just something that's
if everyone kept on thinking that, sure, we wouldn't be, you know, we'd be in some difficult places. But you know what? I think look, Belfast Whiskey Week exists for one major reason, and you know, if we're to pinpoint it as to why it exists, is because when I looked at what was happening in Belfast, you know, May 2019, that kind of period, I looked at my summer calendar, I looked at what I was doing personally, and I was thinking to myself, do you know what? Belfast is lacking something. It just lacks festival that I want to go to. You know, it lacks something that I want. Thanks for Brendan Carter. You know, you're just being, you know, being geeky.
Jumping on the bandwagon there.
But you know, I looked at what I wanted to do, and that was quite selfish, wasn't it? I was like, what would I get involved in? And there's music that I enjoy. There's lots of other things I have an affinity with. But I looked at it. Do you know what? I could go to Islay and go and have a whiskey festival. I could go to Speyside Whiskey Festival and the Highland Whiskey Festival. I could do all those things. But there's bugger all here for whiskey. And that's what I looked at, and I thought, why not? Why? Let's look at Belfast and think of what Belfast was. Belfast was the largest producer of whiskey in the world at one point. That's fact. I didn't make that up. That's true. You know what I mean? And we had Dunville's and Cumber and all those beautiful little distilleries, you know, in and around Belfast, that made some amount of alcohol here, and all of a sudden, gone. It was gone. There was nothing obliterated. So it lost all of that, but it needs to reclaim that, and there's no harm to it. You know, if we have 2 or 3 distilleries popping up in Belfast city centre alone in the next couple of years, that's going to stay something. But you've got 7 distilleries and counting down by the end of next year. Oh my God, do you know what I mean? You know, we could be turning the tide of Irish whiskey in Ireland to say, look, you know, we're going to be top heavy. We're going to be pushing the balance of power. Yeah, it's nice to have all these distilleries in the south, but actually, what have we got in the south? We've got a lot of big brands under the one distillery. Yep. And then we've got you know some new distilleries which are pushing boundaries, which is great to see. So there's definitely scope for Belfast to centre itself within the whiskey world.
100%.
And then I thought, you know what I thought? Festivals are great. Festivals are great crack. Let's make a festival. People can come to a festival, and they could choose not to come to the festival. But if we create a festival, let people come to Belfast, see what Belfast is about, and explore it. And I had a meeting. I remember having a meeting after, so it was after the festival took place. And do you know what? We had about 480 people come through that festival. That might not sound like a lot of people, but for me, that was a hell of a lot of people. Yeah. You know, and like 7. I was counting last night because I thought I made a mistake. But 7 of those events last year, 18 events, 17 of them were free.
That's right. There was an awful lot of it was free last year.
7 out of 18 were free. And I'd have done the same this year had it not been online. Had it not if it was not online, I'd have been looking at free events. I wanted people to come to the city, get involved in a couple of free events, take part in some of the bigger events, maybe pay for some ticket sales there. But that was it. You know, taking it online changes it because you've got cost. You've got cost of packaging and sending and everything else. Right? And and I hope people understand at some point when you order like 7,500 miniature bottles, it doesn't cost £1. It costs money. And when you order like 7,500 labels that are all bespoke labels, it costs money. So those expenses don't exist in the physical meeting in the pub world. You know what I mean? They really don't. So no, I mean it's I looked at it. I thought we're going to create a festival. Let people come to the festival. So I had this meeting and I spoke to a couple of people who were planning. They were planning on doing something. And I said, listen, how about, do you want to get involved in Belfast Whiskey Week? And they were like, why are you doing it on the 24th of July? And I went, well, do you know what? I looked at the calendar last year and it was the only time in the year where there was nothing on. Like nothing. If you looked up, Visit Belfast, or you looked at the, What's On magazine, or whatever was on the go, that 1 week in Belfast, nothing. No festival, nothing at all. Gay Pride, and then that was it. Gay Pride, it overlaps a little bit, and then that was it. And I was like, Gay Pride has its own thing. I mean, we don't want to encroach on Gay Pride, so really we don't want to be, we don't want to be encroaching on it. So then I was like, Belfast Whiskey Week, that's where you're going to be. You're going to be there. I could have done it in December. I could have done it in April. I could have done it anywhere. I went, no, that's where we're doing it. So when it came around this year again, the question was twice, why are you doing it then? And I went, because there's nothing on. And they're like, yeah, you're right. We do nothing in the drinks industry and within the hospitality industry, the hotel industry. Anything like that, we do nothing. It's a dead week. And I went, that's why I'm doing it. I'm making the point. I'm making the point that something needs to happen in Belfast in that dead week because your bars are open, yet you're doing nothing. Do you know what I mean? The hotels are open, you're doing nothing. Your restaurants are open, you're doing nothing. I said, so we're going to make people come. And you know what? I'm in two minds. Online, I think, is going to be very good. And I think it will be good. And I think actually if we get it right and we get the tech right and we get everyone talking properly, do you know what I mean? And allowing people to explore all the different whiskies, because there's so many. I mean, there's over 250, different unique whiskies being drunk. We could talk about the exclusives, Jim. We could talk about the fact that we're launching first ever Irish whiskey coming out of west of Ireland through Connacht Whiskey in over 100 years. That's unreal. No one's tasted that. Not even the bloggers. No one's tasted it. It's coming out. Whoever gets it in the festival pack, that's the first time it's been tasted. And that in itself is a piece of history. But then Dingo's releasing product. So they're going to have a brand new product. We've then got brand new product, I know, coming from Dunville's. We've got brand new product coming from Two Snacks is launching 5 different products. You've got Red Earl, which is launching and have something special there. Kelowna are launching 3 products. Who else is launching? Boan are launching 3 products. We've got launch products of lots of different brands.
Because I was going to say, Boan are having a big thing at it, aren't they, with the Whistler and all that there? So
people are launching product at the festival. This is a big thing. This is no offense to anything that calls themselves a whiskey festival right now in Ireland, because it's not. Don't care who you are, what you are, who the hell you think you are. You're not a festival. This is a festival. This is an exploration of whiskey. It's looking at whiskey, and Jim, I made a conscious effort this year as well. Like last year, I did the same. We don't just drink Irish whiskey. So out of the 39 events online right now, over 9 of them, nothing to do with nothing to do with Irish whiskey. They're Scottish whiskies or the world whiskies, Japanese whiskies, whatever it is. It's not just Irish whiskey.
You see, what I like about that is and yet again, this goes back to the club. Because I appreciate what you're doing in the club by introducing people to a lot of world whiskies, because I have found, and I think I don't know whether this is just the people that I know in Ireland or whether this is just because I know this happens in I know it happens in Scotland as well, that the Scots tend to stick to Scotch whiskey and would be a wee bit more dug in about trying it from other places, and the same goes in Ireland. And I've always had this big beef about peated whiskey, about how much peated whiskey gets frowned upon in Ireland, and the amount of ones, and I know there's an awful lot of them even within the Belfast Whiskey Club won't touch it, and and they call it this and they call it that, and it's exactly. But at the same time, that's what things like this are about. That's what festivals like this are about, because people aren't going to spend that money to buy. I mean, these whiskies in each of those packs, each of these sessions have been handpicked for a reason.
Yeah, 100%.
And people aren't going to spend that good money on it and just say, well, I'm not going to try that one or that one, but I want to try those two. For example.
Do you know, Jim? There's a lot of people all over the world. Doesn't matter where you are now. Whiskey travels. Whiskey travels. It does not stay in the one place for very long. It will move. And there's a lot of people, and I love them. And I've been doing it, but I don't do it as much as many other people. But people share whiskey. So we bottle share. We send samples to people. We move that whiskey around. We want people to taste it. We want people to explore it. The whiskey tastings that we're doing, it's about doing that. It's actually about making sure we open some of those bottles of whiskey. So what was the point? No offense to the people who do this, right? But what's the point of a 30-year-old Powers from the from the pre-1970 sitting in a bottle for the rest of its life? Yeah. No. Let's open that up. Let's pour it into measures and make sure that people can, experience it. So instead of it sitting on someone's one shelf in the beautiful museum that they may have, that now, we're going to have 12, 14 people drinking that. Boom. I think that's amazing. But yeah, we can look at some of those tastings and we can say there's an introduction to. Do you know what? the only freaking thing in the whole festival. I don't care anymore, right? Because we're flying everywhere else, right? But the only one that has got no tickets, or they had no tickets before about 5 o'clock today. I hadn't checked since, but before 5 o'clock today, no one had purchased a ticket for introduction to English whiskey.
Is that still no?
But you know what, Jim? Right? Well, you know what? That annoys me, and it doesn't annoy me that no one's bought a ticket, because I don't care about that. I care that people don't see it for what it is. Yeah. So what we're doing there is we're saying, I've now found six distilleries in England who I think we can showcase, that I think we can talk about. I think we can open up people's palate. And you know what? See if it tastes like shit. Make that choice once you've drunk it. Tell me that it's crap, but see if it's good. Don't be frightened to say it's good. Don't be frightened to talk about it. But if you're not going to drink it, if you're not going to give it its chance, then we just can't keep on, annihilating it and calling it crap. You know what I mean? Like I've made conscious decisions every tasting I've ever done to ensure that we taste something that people more than likely have not tasted. And I think if you ask the club, out of how much whiskey we've drunk, how much of it they would have drunk in the past, and I just said that probably about 10% of what we drink they would have drunk.
Yeah.
90% has been opened up, has been something they can explore, something they've challenged, it's challenged them, something that's allowed them to go and think, I would take that again, or I wouldn't take that again. But we've opened up those ideas, and we've broken down those barriers. So there's there's a worldwide tasting, which has been great, and I haven't really spoken about this much on any platform I've talked about, Jim, and I would like to talk about it, but it's looking at expressions from different countries. But we've got McMara in there who are going to do a sample. We've got Paul John who've put in a sample. We've got Millstone from the Netherlands who've put in a sample. We'll have Baines from South Africa. We've then got coming from Australia, and it's somehow, hopefully it gets here, but it's been sent by Belgrove from Australia. Hopefully it gets here. We've got these distilleries, we've got these guys in these distilleries wanting to be involved. We'll have them on live during the festival. We're going to have some Japanese whiskey there, some Thai whiskey, Canadian whiskey and Welsh whiskey.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? See if you're a whiskey drinker and you have not bothered your fat hole to go and try and taste whiskey from these countries, you are missing. Tell you why, 100%. Right? Because I've not had a bad millstone yet. I'll be frank. Not had a bad. I generally haven't had a bad Macmara. Have I had a bad experience with South African whiskey? No, and we've tried the stuff, the Baines and the Three Ships. Australia whiskey can be hit and miss, but I've been told great things about Belgrove. And what I would say, that we have two guys who proclaim that it's the best whiskey they've ever tasted, and that's Jarlath Watson from Ecklandville and Brendan Carty from Cologne. If both of them are telling me that it's the best whiskey they've tasted, I'm like,
which one was this?
Belgrove from Australia. Right. What do I do with that? Because that's two guys who are producing great whiskey right now, and I'm like, okay, I must take your word for it. So, and you know what? Okay, Pendrin's hit and miss, but I like them.
I'm not a fan. Not a fan of McNeera either. but
but here, listen, is that not the interesting thing though, Jim? That
you got to try it to find out.
And you've now had an honest opinion and go, I didn't like that. And you know what? If you didn't taste them and you went, yeah, fucking Welsh whiskey weirdos, you know what I mean? No, you can't have that conversation until you at least try. So, do you know what? The Scotch whiskey tastings, there's three or four Scotch whiskey tastings, but and I haven't actually put up the full list, and I will actually spend some time the next couple of days putting the full list of the products in there. But I thought, do you know what? The introduction to new distilleries is something which is quite special. That's me wanting to talk about all those new distilleries because Jim, they're having a tough time, just like our Irish ones as well.
I was looking at that. Is there a list anywhere of those distilleries?
So, yeah, I'm going to put a list. I'm going to put a list on tomorrow afternoon of the distilleries I'll be talking about and the whiskey that we're going to be introducing. But I came across a letter, Jim. This is where this came from. I came across a letter signed by 8 distilleries in Scotland, collectively independent distilleries, who collectively signed a letter asking for support during coronavirus from the government, as a kind of financial support measure. Do you know what I mean? I thought, you know what, that touched me. I was like, Jesus, these boys are taking it hard. They're new distilleries. They've just started producing whiskies. Yeah. They're looking for some support, and the fact that they all came together. Do you know what I mean? And Glenmorangie, Glenfarclas, and Glendronach, and Highland Park, and we could mention them all, right?
Yeah.
Have been around for a long time and have probably, I would hope, supported their staff, supported their ambassadors, supported all of their, and supported the product from and protected them from this environment. Whereas these new distilleries are finding it a lot tougher because they're not producing lots of whiskey, they're not selling lots of whiskey, and their brands aren't huge brands. So I want to talk about them. There's other distilleries there who are new and have been producing whiskey for a little while. I want to discuss and explore. So that's what that box is about. But the other one, which is an exploration of Scottish whiskey, is actually, and I hope people really take this. We're going to look at the 6 regions of Scotland. We're going to look at the main components of Scottish whiskey, the peated whiskey, the sherry bombs. We're going to be looking at all of that stuff.
Sorry, I'll get back to that because I just noticed that from Graham Horner. But you were talking about maybe selling just tickets for diving in and out, weren't you?
Yeah, so do you know what? I mentioned that on Jason's show last night, and yes, there is, Graham, 100%. So basically what's going to happen is the festival will run on a continuous stream. So it's going to be continuous. There's not going to be any interruption. We're going to run from 12 o'clock till 10 o'clock every day, and some of those tastings will run within the festival format, and we can all see that. Anyone who has a ticket can come in and watch that. Some of them, though, will be in Zoom rooms. And we're looking at technology just now to even play the presenter from the Zoom room into that live feed as well. And if we can do that, that'd be absolutely phenomenal. But if not, no. If you don't have a ticket for a box, or a tasting box, I'm going to put up a very, very small price, a couple of quid, whatever it is, very, very small price for you to take part in the festival. And you can be a festival goer, but like a non-alcoholic. You just turn up and take part in what's being spoken about. You can go and ask questions of the presenters, and you can you can listen to all the music and the comedians and stuff. You can be part of the festival entirely without having to buy a drink. And I'm definitely up for making sure that happens. And I think that to make it as accessible as possible to anyone who wants to be involved. So there's going to be guys, I think, look, we make the point, there could be guys in some countries who can't accept alcohol. And that's understandable. And it would be very difficult, to me to try and smuggle whiskey into those countries. So if they can't accept the alcohol, but they want to be part of the festival, then yeah, I want to make a way for that to happen. So the next couple of weeks, we'll have a ticket that goes out there, which really is just about people want to get involved in the festival. And I'll be marketing actually quite specifically the entertainment. So the entertainment hasn't been marketed yet. And when we start to market the entertainment part of it, then I think you'll see a different type of festival goer. You're going to see somebody goes, oh, do you know what? I'd actually want to go and listen to for 2 hours a day. If it was jam packed and squeezed into something, it's going to be like 2 hours of entertainment per day for those 8 days. That in itself is will probably make it the biggest music festival in Belfast this year, probably. And I do mean that, because that that's what it's going to do. But that's a sideline. That's a sidestep. But no, I mean we're looking at that Scotch pack, and we're looking at exploring Scotch whiskey. And when I've been talking to people about it, I've said, look, we've got 6 regions in Scotland. We're going to have 9 samples, 9 50ml samples. The whiskey has to be interesting. It has to be lively. It has to make you want to drink Scotch whiskey. So particularly for the Irish drinker who maybe doesn't really understand Scotch, there should be a way for them to explore it.
Yeah.
But see, for the Scotch drinker, they'll be going, Jesus, I can't buy that anywhere. That's been great to taste. Thanks very much for that. Or this is an explosion of that flavour. Didn't realise that, likes of Springbank didn't realise they did that, or Bunnahabhain didn't realise they did that, or Glendronach didn't realise they did that. We're looking at those kind of products and going, didn't realise that, they played around with port casks, or they played around with Burgundy casks, or they played around with X, Y, and Z. So yeah. We want to explore those kind of things. So yes. That's dead on. And again, look, for the majority of them, you'll start to see when you go into those events that you're going to see the list of samples. They're not all on there. And the reason for that is not me personally. It was sometimes it's to do with the distilleries not having that information supplied at that point when the list has been made. But they are now coming now. So, we do have full lists from different distilleries that we can now put up there. What I would say is that that we want to share that, and we want to be very open and honest with people about what we're going to be drinking. Yeah. Now you're just right.
Sorry, just before we go much further, I did actually come for another purpose tonight. Just in case anybody was wondering, I was finishing. I've wanted to do this for a while, and Graham Horner, who is in here, sent me a sample I don't know if you tried mellow corn yourself, Paul.
No, well, not sure. No, I don't think it's possible.
As you can see, I would keep you a sample, but actually, it's funny because Menno, who was in here earlier, Menno's multi-mission, who was in here earlier, has actually I stripped the sample off for him today because I promised him one, and then I said, right, well, I'll see, and I thought I wouldn't actually have that much left. But I have got this much left. So you see the next time I'm speaking to you, I'll keep that for you. But he sent me Balcones Baby Blue. I don't know if you've tried it, because they're both 100% corn whiskies. So I just wanted to try and see, because they're both 100% corn, I just wanted to see for myself but what I have discovered before I even tasted the Balcones, I don't know whether it's because it's blue corn, which makes a difference. Mellow corn, cheap as chips in America. Like I've been told that this goes as low as maybe $9 a bottle.
Very syrupy.
Yeah, well, it's actually, I found the mellow corn is actually very dusty corn. It's cardboardy, and I did a review on it, and I actually said that I did quite like it, but the Balcones on the nose is just so much sweeter, more vanilla, more. That's really sweet, and it's not bad. Blackcurrant, totally different.
So at the club we've been very lucky. We've tried a couple of the balconies. What I would say is the baby blue actually doesn't do that bad. What I would say is stay away from the brimstone.
Right.
That's just that did not go down too well with the club at all. In fact, I think it's now ranked as either the worst or the second worst whiskey we've tasted. Didn't do well at all. But you know what? It was an experience. It literally was what it said on the tin. It was brimstone. It was. But no, the Balcones range is actually all right. There's some new stuff coming through just now. So they have played with their casks. I think they also used some sort of laser technology. If I remember rightly, they did something with laser technology. They also did something with smoking.
They're peating. I think they're peating like single malts and all, and putting out a peated single malt. That's the plan.
So they're doing that. But yeah, no, it's good that you're tasting it here. There's no point that, again, don't pretend that you know what it is until you've started to drink it.
I love the fact that these people, Luna Aaron, who's in here tonight, has sent me samples from Germany of German whiskey, and I can't wait to get stuck into them to try them. As I say, Menno was looking at trying this mellow corn, so I said I would send him some of it, and they'll be going out. Those samples will be going out later this week, and he says, "I'll send you something back." And it's not even a case of he's in Belgium, and it's not a case of necessarily a Belgian whiskey, but it's this as well as I do. It's bottlings that they're going to get of stuff there that we don't get here. Greg sent me Jameson's from France. It was a store pick Jameson's from French, the Maison de Whiskey in France. So it was their own, and I just think this is incredible that you can try these whiskies from elsewhere.
You know what gets me, Jim? I've been trying for years, about 4 years or something. I've been trying to source there was a bottle that went out only to Belgium. It was a Greenore. And it was a Greenore, so Irish grain, Irish single grain. I went out there, I think it was a 9-year-old. Only went to Belgium. That was it. Nowhere else. And you know what? I can't find it for love and the money. And neither can anyone I know that's ever been to Belgium. They're like, nah, just can't find it. So, the Caskmates stuff is great. I mean, Caskmates is now all around the world. And I'm the only one. Apparently, I'm the only one with the whole collection from every Caskmates. I don't know if that's true, but I am within the German whiskey circle. 100%. I'm the only one with the full collection. People are reading. But are we going on for much longer, Jim? Because I realise I've just looked at my little, the wee battery thing, and it's going to just die off just now. So I would like to stay on.
Not really. Couple of minutes, Paul, because I always try to keep this within the hour, mate. So
let me just. I want to wrap up anyway. First of all, I want to say a couple of things, and you can say things. I want to say thank you so much, and I genuinely do mean that. I'm humbled by anyone who genuinely cares to have me on. So first of all, thank you very much. Second of all, I do make it up to you, and we'll have you playing in the band as part of the festival. That's a must. But I also want to say thank you very much to the audience. So anyone who's been here has listened to this. Make a conscious decision. Come to the festival, don't come to the festival. I don't really care. But, and even if you don't come to it, use it for what it could be as a playback to listen to stuff and listen to the conversations. Do you know what I mean? And that's what it's going to be used for. I've told all the distillers and the brands that I expect people to use it as a reference point. That should be important. But I want people to have fun. And I thank you very much for that. And I know that you've got a great thing going on now. And you've introduced me to YouTube channels. I was never involved in that before. You got me introduced to Roy, Aquavite, and yourself. And I'm going to spend time, watching these YouTube channels because I never did it before. And it is a whole new experience. So thank you. Genuinely, I do mean that.
No, here, Paul, I thank you for coming on. And listen, I can tell you for a fact that people have bought tickets tonight because there's been people in the chat have said that they've just bought a ticket for such and such. And
I hear that. I genuinely feel choked for that because that's really quite sweet. Wow, thank you.
So it's Whiskey Jason. So has just popped in. The Whiskey Friend Alan was in. My Bourbon Journey. Listen, there's been a few guys here popped in that I maybe missed. I haven't said hello to, and I just, thank you, Paul, for coming on. Thank everybody. I like to thank everybody myself for. And it would appear Paul's battery has just calved, as we would say. It has literally just calved. What do you do? I would say I'll be in contact with Paul just after this, and I'll thank him once again for being here. Listen, thank you all. I had quite a crowd in tonight, and I really enjoyed it. I didn't get a chance to speak much about these, and I'm going to take the next 5 minutes if you want to hang around, and just give you, maybe not 5 minutes, give you a wee bit of info. As I said, mellow corn. Unless you tried it, this is bottled and bond. So you're looking at 50%. It is quite corny.
I knew
it's back.
I knew it was going to do that. I just, you know, it's one of those things that the iPad just drains and drains and drains when you're talking. You still live, Jack? You still live? Well, listen, I was listening
still
to you
saying
saying lots of nice things, so you can keep saying them, so I can listen to them.
I was just going to turn it off and tell everybody how. No, I was literally just dipping into these briefly to say what I thought, because to say who was it? It was Graham. Graham Horner sent me these, so it was just a case of saying. But I'll get back to Graham about these, because I'm not 100% sure myself, because I've been sipping away at these the whole time while I was talking to you. And I was that interested in what you were saying and what was going on here. Look, he's died again.
You know what? No, I just whacked my phone there. But no, listen, Jim. Honestly, you know, you can have hilarity. To be frank, we can have hilarity. But do you know, maybe what I didn't say was that, you know, there's guys that are behind the Whiskey Week, but there's also guys that are going to be supporting the Whiskey Week from the club as well. So yes, we've got Phil and Nigel and Jamie and Johnny who've helped me make some big decisions. You know, they've helped me do that. They've also pushed me in the right direction for certain things. But then there's guys in the club who are going to be helping doing some IT. So we're lucky, as I say, different people with different skill sets. We've got a couple of guys who are IT focused in their jobs, and that's what they do in real life. So they're going to be helping in the background running some of the IT for us, because we're going to be using probably two different formats. We're going to have this format, which is a rolling format, a constant, you know, stream. A little bit like what we're using here just now, but a little bit more technical, a little bit more advanced. And then we're going to have like those little private Zoom rooms. We're going to have like private rooms where people can, just like in a normal festival, Jim, that you bugger off. You don't want to listen to, you know, Nirvana all night. You have to go and listen to Led Zeppelin. But you know, it's giving people it's giving people just a different choice. Know what I mean?
So is it going to be like available on YouTube for some of the, as you said? So is this going to be ID, and then other ones that
yeah. So this you know this type of format should be accessible to anyone who purchases a ticket of some description. You know, that's Neil. That's an interesting question, Neil. How do you join Belfast Whiskey Club? Do you know what? Belfast Whiskey Club is a very it's a very open club. I.e., do you know what I mean, to come along to one of the tastings, you just say, "Can I come to one of the tastings?" That's as simple as that. Once you come to a tasting and you like it and you want to come to any more, we've got various membership options. But it's one of those clubs where, you know, doors are always open. You know what I mean, we've not banned anyone yet, and we've never had to kick someone out, but we've always accepted people. So we have membership.
I might have a link to your Facebook page in the details of this. I'm not 100% sure. If I haven't, I'll add it.
It's just, you know, I think to put people in mind as well, we're a club whereby we've actually, over the last, obviously since lockdown, but even before lockdown, I kind of went into lockdown and I told people in the club I was going to lockdown because I felt that my own personal businesses, I'd made decisions about coronavirus way before the government had. Do you know what I mean? I own a dental practice, Jim, and I made decisions before the health department had told me what to do, because they're, no offense to them, they're not very good at telling you what to do at the right time. So we've actually had 10 different online whiskey tastings since coronavirus took a hold in this country. And we've done that for our members. You know, I've hand-delivered whiskey to Enniskillen, to Newcastle, to Antrim, you know, all over the place. In fact, I've gone as far as Monaghan. Is it Monaghan? Yeah, I've gone as far. You know, I've gone.
I know you've certainly been well over the border, like, yep.
Yeah, so we've gone over. I would drive around dropping off whiskey to people. So look, the Whiskey Club is accessible. Should be open to everyone. Post all of this crap. You know, hopefully we'll go back to our bar setting. Hopefully we'll go back to the Duke of York. Hopefully we're back in there and we have, you know, we're able to continue. But it's just, I also do think, and we have had in the past people who are members from all around the place, and if they can't come to our club, we bottle the stuff. If they can't come to the whiskey tasting, we'll bottle it and we'll send it to them. We're very adaptable. But I'm glad you asked that question, because you want to come to Belfast Whiskey, just come, just turn up, have a drink. I mean, explore. Have
100%.
fun.
Listen, I will wrap it up, because I was going to wrap it up anyway. But stay there and hang around, and I'll have a chat with you in a minute whenever it's wrapped up. Paul,
thank you.
Thanks again, mate, and best wishes and good luck for the club.
Cheers. Thank you very much, guys.
Cheers, man. Yes. Thank you indeed to Paul, and thank you to all of you. I thoroughly enjoyed that. Always enjoy. It's weird, because when I started doing these on my own, I felt slightly more comfortable doing it on my own. I'm a bit of a, but the more I've had guests on with me, and the more I have a guest on, the more relaxed I feel, and the easier it's starting to be. I'll not be back for a couple of weeks, because I'll reset now and go back to doing it every fortnight. But who knows what the next one will bring? I'm sure I'll have a guest of some sort, because people are very, very open, very, very happy to come on. So there you are. Thank you all very much for being here. I'm going to call this one a night, and thank you again, and I'll see you in 2 weeks. Here's to your good health. Cheers.